Now look, if we'd have won an election last fall, we wouldn't be in this mess. So I'm here to listen too, because I'm not assuming that it's all Democrats in here, because I was out on a farm last week and it sure the hell wasn't all Democrats. But it was people that were really irritated about the tariffs and the trade war with our neighbors. And there's a responsibility in this time of chaos where elected officials need to hear what people are irritated about. And I would argue that Democratic officials should hear the primal scream that's coming from America is do something, damn it. This is wrong. This is wrong. And independence. And there's nothing conservative about an unelected South African Nepo baby firing people at the VA. And for our Republican neighbors now, all of a sudden they're like, I wanted my 401k to go down. I wanted this, This idea that you would be okay. Can you imagine if President Barack Obama had brought his unelected African friend to cut? You know what I mean? How they think to cut the government. This is wrong. And your member of Congress is there to be your voice, is there to push back. So we're not here, and I'm not here to criticize and to personally attack Representative Nunn. I congratulate him on his service, unlike the other side who finds a need to criticize everybody and attack and do all that. That's not what we're here for, but you were hired to do a job. And that's the questions that we want to ask. You need to answer the questions about the things you did. Why is it okay for President Musk to do what he's doing? Why is that okay? Why are we fighting a trade war with Canada that Donald Trump negotiated the deals on and now doesn't want it? Why is that? And why do billionaires get to tell us you're going to have to endure a little bit of pain? Well, we wouldn't if you'd pay your taxes. We wouldn't have to. We wouldn't have to. And so I would say to you, Rita and I are going to take questions and hear from you. And I don't think it's going to be that different than I'm hearing from my constituents about trade wars, about Medicare and all that. But this is what your representative needs to be here for. Because if they were proud of what they did, it's very hard to find an elected official who doesn't want to be in front of a crowd or a camera. When they don't want to be, you know something's up.
Well, the Republicans are unwilling to face the music in their own districts, being ordered by senior MAGA leadership to stay away from their own town halls. You know, those things that keep people close to their constituents and their voters to know how they're doing as they're virtually running for office every 2 years. How do you know how you're doing? You rely on your aides in Capitol Hill in constituent services? No, you got to go into the belly of the beast. You got to face the music. But the Republicans are scared to do that because they don't want to hear how poorly their district feels about Donald Trump's policies and how they're affecting them. This includes in red districts in red states, setting up a perfect opportunity for the Democrats to take advantage of the cowardice of the GOP representatives. I'm Michael Popok. I'm not cowardice. I'm not cowardly. I'm here on Legal AF. Let's get to it. The Democrats, in a new, revived, reinvigorated energy that they need to carry themselves through the midterm election with a win, are going into these town halls now effectively abandoned by Republican representatives. They don't want to face the music. They don't want to hear how poorly the Trump policies that they're supporting are being received by their constituents. Well, the Democrats will go in. Your favorite twosome, your favorite duo, AOC and Bernie Sanders, have joined together, and they're going to Nevada, Arizona, and Colorado town halls, joined by Ro Khanna, who's out in different Republican town halls in California, and Tim Walz, one of our favorite vice presidential candidates. Forget about Minnesota Nice. He's taken it to the man, and that man is Elon Musk. He was just at a town hall this week, where he called Elon Musk a South African Nepo baby and called him a dipshit. Yeah, I don't know about Minnesota Nice, but it certainly was Minnesota funny. And it's what we have to do. Elbows up, Gordie Howe style, as the Canadians say, and whatever the U.S. equivalent of that is. You know, we've got to use sharp elbows at this point. We've got to get a little mean. I'm not saying give up our values as a party, but I'm talking about if there's going to be a lack of accountability between the Republican Party, Donald Trump, and the American people, then the Democrats need to take advantage of it as part of their brand. We just had, speaking of the Midwest, we just had in Wisconsin, Republican Representative Derek Van Orden. He refused to go to his town hall. He canceled it. Well, that gave his political rival, Democratic Wisconsin Representative Mark Pocan, the ability to go in and troll Van Orden, put up a giant sign, a missing in action sign during the town hall. Derek was a no-show, he wrote on his social media, but over 300 people in the town of 4,500 showed up. There was an empty seat for him. And then he put a special note, Derek doesn't respond to constituents and they don't like cuts to Medicaid and other programs. And he's afraid of his own constituents. When a party is afraid of their own constituents, it will be a bloodbath of their own creation come the midterm elections. And the Democrats have to find a way, which I think they're starting to find their voice, starting to find their point of view, starting to rebrand themselves, not allowing Donald Trump to brand them as some sort of liberal elitists, but rather get back down to grassroots. This is a shoe leather party. This is a party of the people. All politics is local. Get local, and that's what the Democrats need to do. We can't cede the ground to the Republicans to allow them to hole up in Washington, abuse their constituents with policies that fall mainly on them and harm them. There's no other way to put it. Red state voters, poor and rural areas which predominate red states or in red states, they are being harmed the most by Donald Trump's policies. It's not trickle down. That trickle down is somebody peeing down your leg. There's no trickle down economics. The tariffs that have been erratically imposed by Donald Trump are roiling the financial markets, hurting the consumer. Rates will begin to rise. Consumer lending will begin to fall because the rates will be too high. Paycheck to paycheck will become even more difficult for people to manage. That's what they recognize. And then they've got Elon Musk, or as Tim Walz refers to him, the South African Nepo baby dipshit. He's looking and salivating over Medicare and Medicaid Social Security cuts, because how else is he going to come up with his several $1 trillion of budget cuts to pay for tax breaks for the wealthy? Now look, federal government already has a bad reputation with the American people, especially the independents. But we got to get back to the point where the Democrats can be promoters of local interests at the state level and explain that the federal government has a tremendous positive, or can have a tremendous positive impact and effect on people's lives, and be able to do things and fund things and accomplish things that the local government just can't do because they just don't have the money, the manpower, the willpower, or the infrastructure to accomplish it. People hate to admit it, but there are just things that only the federal government, at the size and scale of the federal government, and with the money at its disposal, that they can do. Donald Trump wants to shrink the federal government so small it can be drowned in a bathtub, but that's not going to help the American people. Getting rid of the Department of Education is not going to help people become more educated. And 50 million public school students and 12 million college students are at risk for being abused, including about 10 million that have disabilities. You think certain states, and I won't name them, are going to be concerned about disabled students in their school the way the federal government would be and the way federal monitors would be? There's a reason we had a Department of Education that was promoted by a peanut farmer from Plains, Georgia named Jimmy Carter back in the 1970s, because he knew that there was a great divide between the northern states and the southern states, the blue states and the red states when it came to education and education opportunities. And to Donald Trump, everybody's on an equal playing field. They're not. Everybody is educationally on an equal playing field. They're not. Everybody financially is on an equal playing field. They're not. Black and brown people are on an equal playing field along with white people in America. They're not. The poor are on an equal playing field with the mega rich. They're not. And the Americans know that in their bones. They know it in their DNA. And that is why these town halls are becoming increasingly incendiary. Just, these Republicans are going to have to wear asbestos suits to go to these town halls. That bodes very, very well for what the Democrats are trying to accomplish at the midterms. I've said it before, and it fits on a bumper sticker. Give me the House and give me the Senate. I'll give you an impeachment and a conviction and Donald Trump removal from office. But you got to give me both. One's not going to do it. And if you want to balance an out of control, megalomaniacal fascist dictator in the form of a president, don't rely solely on the federal courts and the Supreme Court, God help us, but do it at the ballot box. And I know people are starting to vote economically, right? We got this big Friday economic blackout, pull your money away from all the oligarchs and tech bros who supported Donald Trump. And of course, we're watching that it works. Use Tesla as an example, as its stock price has taken the greatest hit in the history of any automotive brand in the shortest amount of time. Even exploding cars back in the 70s and 80s, and unsafe at any speed didn't lead to the shedding of wealth at the Tesla marketplace, the way that Elon Musk doing what he's been doing, nefariously hurting Americans that he doesn't care about, has done. So we have the power. We are ultimately the boss, and these people work for us. Join me here regularly, here on Legal AF, where I curate all the stories you need to know at the intersection of law and politics, and I do it in one place. Legal AF, the YouTube channel, well, two places, Midas Touch, and of course, the Legal AF podcast. So until my next reporting, I'm Michael Popok. I'm Michael Popok, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popok Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popok Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event, by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states, and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popok Firm today at 1-877-POPOK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopokfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popok Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.